guys, welcome to Overcrest. I'm Kris.
And I'm Jake, and welcome to the Overcrest Beanie Gang.
Beanie Gang, that's right. Yeah, well, yes, that's true. That's true. This is the Night Zero exclusive hat that everybody got out in Utah. Anyway, Jake, I have an idea. Before we get into our episode, everything else, and you
do you want to tease what is this?
Yeah,
what is the title? Here's the thing: whenever we record, little peek behind the scenes, we never, I think, really know what the title's going to be until afterward. It's like when you write a book; you should never write the title until you're done. So I'm always like, what are we doing? But people already know what it's about because they read the title and the synopsis. But they're in the future.
Nobody reads the synopsis. I could write all kinds of crazy crap in the synopsis and no one would ever read it. Anyway, so this is Jake needs a new car. And I've picked out the top 5 cars that I think Jake should buy. And I'm going to try and convince him to buy each one of those. And hopefully one of these 5.
Each one of these.
Well, not one of each.
I see what you mean. You're going to convince me to buy each one of them, and one of them, hopefully. Okay.
Yes.
I thought this was like, you buy one of each.
You buy one of each. All right. So, Jake, why don't you tell me how, just like a quick recap, if you're new to the podcast, how did you get into this situation where you need a vehicle at all?
Right. Well, it's very, do you want to talk about how we were in the exact same scenario?
Yeah, sure. We're going to talk about my scenario. Oh my God.
So
my infrared heater is like touching my 911. Hold on.
Okay. I had the perfect lineup. It was the Macan Turbo, and then there was a Cayenne Turbo.
It's a terrible pairing, by the way.
And so it was amazing. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I had a big bump with the Cayenne, and that was total.
Okay, first of all, terrible combo because those two vehicles are too closely related. They're both SUVs. You got a little SUV and a big SUV.
I know.
It's really not, like when you think of 2-car solution.
Yeah, no, that's
those
not
two cars solve the same solution.
The 2-car solution would have been the Macan and just like my old 911.
Sure. Yeah.
But my wife also needs to drive.
Macan and Cayenne is a terrible 2-car solution.
Regardless,
those two things are exactly the same.
Agree. Would it be better if I just bought 2 Macans because I really like that vehicle?
Because that's basically the same thing. Sure, go ahead.
Okay,
that's basically what you did, except you had a slightly
So thank you guys
larger...
for joining us on Overcrest. This has been a great episode. No, so okay,
you know it. You know, having 2 Macans would be stupid and boring.
Yeah,
just almost slightly below that, just slightly below Macan and Macan is Macan and Cayenne.
Yeah,
it kind of just is.
So it is. Do you want to hear the distinction between the Macan and the Cayenne, like from Porsche? This isn't from Porsche, but I heard someone saying...
Let me give you my distinction, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. So here's my distinction. 1, actual utility vehicle. The Cayenne is actually fairly capable. It's a capable vehicle. It's a truck. That is a truck.
Yes.
And, I mean, it's a unibody, but it's a truck.
So
it can do things. The Macan is a really expensive Golf.
Or
really expensive Tiguan or Arteon or whatever it be. That's
so
basically what it is.
The explanation I heard that I thought was perfectly fitting and does sum up my experiences is that the Cayenne is an SUV or a truck cosplaying as a sports car, whereas the Macan is more, you're not going to agree with this, but the Macan is a sports car cosplaying as a SUV, which I thought was interesting.
Sure, whatever.
And
I think they're both very close. They're both very, very close.
Regardless, okay, so no longer have Cayenne. And so
what have you been driving instead?
Well, okay, I'm gonna get there. So then we're like, crap, need another vehicle. So bought this.
Why didn't you just buy another Cayenne?
Audi S5. Because I'll get there. Okay, so bought a yellow S5 because in the midst of this, we bought this property. And the first thing I bought when I saw this property was like, holy crap, look at this driveway from hell. I need a plow truck. So we bought the old 04 Ford Super Duty.
It's not time to be buying another $60,000 SUV when you've just bought a house too.
That's exactly the thought process.
And you can't, especially if you're going through the mortgage process, they're not going to like that. That's not good.
Probably not. So bought the truck. I was like, well, we don't really need a truck thing like to haul stuff because we have this. If I'm going to go to Home Depot and want to load up concrete or tow the boat, it's going to be this. It's not going to be a Cayenne. So we're like, all right, let's just get this S5 because it was yellow. Nikki liked her RS4 that she had. It was fine. And then we're like, what happened was I realized, and this was summer, that I didn't go anywhere. Like I left the house maybe once a week driving. Maybe.
Very, very, very familiar situation.
Yes.
I very rarely ever leave. That stupid 4Runner I had last year, which was a nice truck. It was very nice. Yeah. I used it 5 times. Like literally 5 times.
We were in the exact same scenario where I was like, okay. In the meantime, so the
and
thought
it never
was
snowed.
Yeah, you're right. It then. In the meantime of this, Nikki was driving this S5 because she's like, I drive a lot. Let me put the miles on this, and we'll like keep the Macan nice because that's our most expensive vehicle, and it's nice. Well, it's not the most expensive. The 911 is, which is not nearly as nice, ironically. So, in the meantime, she's like, wait a minute, this car is not great. Like the Bluetooth wasn't great on it and the AC wasn't working great. So she's like, why am I driving this shit car when we have a really nice Macan in the garage? So she started driving that. The S5 didn't move. The truck hardly moved. I drove my 911 or the 944 and I was like, all right, we got to get rid of this S5. This is stupid to have this. And we got rid of it.
With that S5 is that it had that middling infotainment system. You either need to have an old infotainment system where the expected experience is I have a radio.
Yeah.
Or you have brand new CarPlay. Everything in the middle that was between then and CarPlay is just trash.
So what I did is they made like an add-on unit where it was full CarPlay and used the existing like infotainment system, but it was like it didn't work great. It wasn't
laggy and just
it just wasn't great. The interface was bad. Okay, so got rid of that. Life was fine. I was great until it was bitter cold here last week. And I think it was like the day before we recorded because I was very grumpy, Chris. I was grumpy because all I wanted to do was go down to the post office. It's like a mile from my house, not even. And so I go, I'm like, all right, I'll just hop in the truck. Click, 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 click. That truck does not like starting in the cold. It's a big old diesel.
Do you have a block heater on it?
Yeah, I do. And I didn't have it plugged in. So now I have it plugged in. And so I can just like plug it in and it'll be fine. But I was like, crap. Damn it, whatever. I'll
just so you know, I just want to say, it was 8 degrees and my trooper just started, no problem. Just saying.
Sure, great,
no problem. My diesel started, no problem.
And this is like 2 batteries, big setup. I mean, it is like a lot more displacement than yours.
Probably has like 30% less compression over all these years of it getting run too. My motor only has like 25,000 miles.
Yeah,
30,000 miles.
Whatever. It didn't make me happy. The truck wasn't happy. Frustrated. And I did sit there and like I had the
Does
jump
it sound
pack
like
on
it has emphysema when it's trying to start like
Yeah. It would, and then all of a sudden it go and then you hear the solenoid going as it starts to wind down.
Yeah.
So that was really frustrating. I put the big jump pack on I have, like I got the big boy one. And it cranked it over and then it still killed it. I think it's because the glow plugs were trying to go as long. Like it was bad. I was really frustrated. Fine, screw it.
You have to cycle the glow plugs like a few times, right? You do it like 3 or 4 times.
No, I don't like diesels, Chris. Diesels suck.
You also don't like yourself if you're not doing it right.
Yeah, I'm not doing it right.
With those old diesels, you have to cycle the glow plugs a few times. And you have to wait till they turn off to like start the truck. Otherwise, you're doubling up amperage there.
Right. I do that. I do wait. I turn it on, wait for the glow light go off, and then go.
Turn it off, and then
sometimes I try to give it a little more fuel, which probably doesn't do anything. Maybe I don't know.
You have to wait. You have to wait till it starts kicking over, and then you add a little bit of foot, just a little.
I did. I tried several variations. Whatever. Stupid.
Enough variations that the battery's dead. Got it.
Just don't like diesels. And then I was like, fine, I'll take the 944. I had to move some crap out of the way to get out of the barn, and I go to turn that, and it's I was like, I do not like that this car doesn't run. And besides, it was like already snow on the ground. I shouldn't be driving that. I need to just sell that. Which
that's exactly the same thing that happened to me with the E23. I was like, all right, I don't want to take the truck. The starter was gone. Well, I couldn't take the truck because the starter broke.
Right.
And okay, I'll take the E23. Jesse's gone with the Golf. She's gone. Yep. So I go in and get an E23. Click, 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 click. Oh, great. Yep, battery's dead. So it's probably a California battery that's been on its last legs for the last 10 years.
What's really frustrating to me is I just replaced the battery in the 944 because I was sick of this happening. So
you got to drain somewhere then.
Yeah. Which isn't ideal. But anyways, so I was like frustrated, didn't even go anywhere. Fine. Just stay here. Grump. And then Nikki's like, well, why don't you sell a couple of these stupid cars that you don't even like and get something usable and reliable? So like if the kid gets hurt and I'm not here, you could actually take him to the hospital. Because what would I have done? You know what I mean? Like try to get the 911 out. Like, it's not ideal. So that's where I
sell the Scout, sell the yellow car, sell the 944.
Yellow car's gone.
Okay.
Yellow car lives in your neighborhood now, ironically.
It does. Yeah, I see it sometimes.
Yes. Sell Scout, sell 944, keep truck as truck thing, and get something reasonable. Reasonable, Chris.
Reasonable.
So that's where we're at.
Okay. Well, some of these cars will be seen as reasonable. Some will not.
Also, I will tell you, I did just install, because since we're talking about status of life, I installed a garage furnace in the shop garage, which I'm excited about.
Okay, like a big hanging Resner type of thing?
Like an 80,000 BTU.
And you installed it yourself, right?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay.
So it was working great. And then I went out there today, and it wasn't working. So that's what I'm going to do after this, is figure that out.
Is it used?
Oh, no, it's brand new. Everything is brand new. And I'm getting the 4. I even took the panel off and looked at the little. It's like the pre-OBD where it has the blink codes. And so I took off the panel. I'm seeing the blink code. It's like 4 blink. Something about a high limit switch not met. Don't know what that means, but I have to figure that out. So
mine up here is always failing in some way, shape, or form as well.
That's exciting.
Always. Yeah, there's always. It's
the same one I installed at the old house, and it was perfect. It was great, but I don't know, because that's, as we say, if you're trying to work out in the cold, it's bad for morale. So this should be good for morale.
It's not. You just have to. Working out in the cold is fine if A, you dressed for it, and B, you have to slow down. You have to slow down and just take your time and do things correctly. A hat,
so that's a step in the right direction of dressing correctly. And slowing down, I don't do. So
you have to slow down outside in the cold because you can't function. Your fingers don't work. Everything is probably like 0.5% smaller than it normally is, so nothing goes easily. Everything creaks and breaks.
I see what you mean. Yeah, like contraction of temperature materials.
Yeah,
okay. I thought everything. You were referencing something else because we were cold.
Oh, gosh, it looks like a little tiny mushroom, like a little mushroom growing out of the grass.
Didn't need to go fully into detail there.
Regardless, cold sucks me. I was in the pool or outside in Minnesota.
Okay,
all right. Before we get into this list,
why
don't you tell me about our favorite car parts place, FCP Euro?
That is FCP Euro. They are, of course, an online retailer of OE, OEM, genuine aftermarket, and performance parts for European cars. BMW, Porsche, Volvo, and more. Catalog is a one-stop shop with over 275,000 unique products, including expert assembled kits to make shopping even simpler. They're actively building out their Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche catalogs, and of course have all of their DIY tutorials that are absolutely invaluable. You can actually know how to do these things with the kit that they assemble for you.
I hope they have how to change out the turbo one, because we'll get into that Drivers Club exclusive section after this stuff. But I hope they have a turbo swap one. Yeah.
Yes. Every product they sell is backed by a lifetime replacement guarantee. Even wear items like wiper blades, brake pads, oil filters, your turbocharger, most likely, because it's in every item. They also have an opening of their distribution center in Mesa, Arizona, which means they're now shipping parts from both coasts, serving most of the country in 3 days or less with free shipping. Check them out today at fcpeuro.com and take advantage of that free shipping on any order over $49.
All right. Jacob, let me tell you about the death of a legend and the rise of a new kind of law enforcement machine. Are you ready for this?
Hold on. First of all, because we're getting right into the cars that you think I should buy.
This is number 5.
So, are there any parameters? No parameters. None whatsoever.
I tried to remain reasonable.
Okay, perfect. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. This is just fun.
Just.
A couple of these are reasonable. Like I think one of them is like completely unreasonable.
I love it.
Because we don't have a time machine. So
all right, law enforcement.
Yes.
Mother of God.
For decades, Jake, the Crown Victoria was the cop car. Hold on. It was, I know you. Everything I've chosen, I think, is actually good for you. So just bear with me.
I'm going to have to steel myself here.
The Crown Vic was big, boxy, and indestructible, a rolling monument to bad decisions and busted taillights. Every criminal in America knew the silhouette of a Crown Vic in their rearview mirror, and they knew what it meant. They were about to have a very bad day. That car had it all. Rear-wheel drive, a body-on-frame design tough enough to survive curb hops and pit maneuvers, and an interior built to withstand everything from spilled coffee to handcuff tantrums. By the mid-2000s, times were changing, however. SUVs were taking over suburbia. Emission standards were getting tighter, and Ford decided the Crown Vic's days were done. Naturally, this threw police departments into chaos. What could possibly replace the Crown Vic's blend of durability, speed, and "oh no, I'm going to jail" vibes? SUVs weren't even on the radar yet. Back then, they were just gas-guzzling grocery haulers. Do you remember, Jake, just like you could pick out a Crown Vic from like 100 miles away? This period of time was awful for us because everything at the time was a Crown Vic. And when the Crown Vic went away, all of a sudden you had Chargers and all these Impalas and Interceptors and you had all
Durango.
You could never tell. All the police departments started buying other things. Ford had a choice to make, a choice they did not take lightly. They didn't just want a replacement, they wanted an evolution. So, in 2013, they rolled out the Police Interceptor Utility, a name that sounded like it belonged to a fighter jet, not an SUV. That's what it's actually called, Police Interceptor Utility. Based on the Ford Explorer, it was a complete reinvention of the cop car, and it changed the game. This wasn't just any SUV, Jake. It was built for cops by cops. Or at least by Ford engineers who'd spend way too much time watching cops. They beefed up the suspension, reinforced the chassis, and gave it all-wheel drive to chase down the bad guys, no matter the weather.
Hold on. Do you not have you? That's right. You've never seen the Blues Brothers, have you?
No.
Okay, no, Mr. Producer, this is perfect. Mr. Producer, find the clip that's very famous where they buy the old cop car and he goes, "It's got cop shocks, it's got cop motor, it's got cop tires, it's got cop this, and this." That's literally what you're telling me. Is like, it's got the cop suspension. It's got the cop motor.
Okay. Well, I've not seen Blues Brothers. I think that's probably going to take too long to find. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. This thing, it was the top spec version of this thing got a twin turbocharged 3-liter EcoBoost V6 pumping out 365.
Oh, here it is. Yes.
There it is. She didn't share the tab with sound, so we don't get sound, but that's...
Oh. Well, I can just narrate for you.
That's just how it goes. Cop brakes, capture.
Yep, exactly.
Is Blues Brothers actually a good movie?
It's probably, I haven't seen it in so long, I couldn't tell you. I think it's probably fun to go back and watch now because it is so campy.
All right.
We should have a watch party.
We could do that. We should do that. We should have some Overcrest watch parties. The top spec version got a twin turbocharged 3-liter EcoBoost. They should change it to like something that's not EcoBoost. They should have like Intercept Boost or Busta Boost or something like that. V6 pumping out 365 horsepower, enough to make the average getaway car look like a tricycle in a windstorm.
It's
also programmed to All right, here we go. Yeah. Look at this thing. You know what the ones I like are? It's the ones we have here in my town, and I don't like this from like a citizen standpoint because I think that it should be obvious. Mr. Producer, pull up a Michigan State Trooper police car. Just type in Michigan State Producer. This is what all cop cars should look like. They should all be very, very obvious what a cop car is. You should have no question. You'd be able to see it from a mile away, because if my wife's having a baby, I don't want to have to guess if a car is a cop car or not. I want to know that's a cop car. That guy's keep scrolling down. No, that's an F-150. No.
But they are very like,
they have like this. They have a siren on the top that is about the size of a wheel. Have you seen these?
Oh yes, it's like it's a caricature of the old school, like put the big bulb thing
but it's
on
like
top.
500% bigger. That's what
For
all
no
cop
reason.
cars should be like. It's for identification. That is a cop car. Please help me, sir.
There
There it is.
Yes.
Look at that thing.
Like, what?
See how big that thing
That
is?
a real thing?
It's huge. They used to be bigger, Jake. They used to be even bigger than that. Anyway, where was I at?
So I didn't realize that the Cop Explorer is technically a different model. That they bill it as a different model.
Yes, it's different. It's got a lot of different things. I know you're a family man now. Oh wait, where are we at?
Hold on. I will interject right now. Do you know the foolproof way of telling if the Sport Explorer is a cop or not?
Antennas.
No. Roof rails.
Ooh.
Every Ford Explorer sold to the civilian market had roof rails. Every one of the cop ones never came with roof rails.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on that.
I saw that, and every single time I've seen it, it's correct. I mean, except if, because now there's like the retired ones they sell at auction. You see the guys just bombing around. That obviously is not accurate. But yeah, roof rails.
Other than the horsepower, this thing is also programmed. This is in the computer. They have programmed this to flawlessly execute 180-degree reverse J-turns, just like you see in the movies. 100%.
Like you hit a button or what?
I don't.
Like, is this like a Tesla autopilot thing or just J-turn?
No, I think it's just like the traction control is built to be able to do it.
Okay.
I know you're a family man, and I know safety matters. I just want to point out that when you're driving one of these things, people are going to think you're a cop. It is the safest vehicle ever because nobody will dare drive faster than 50 miles per hour on you. Forget lane assist or auto braking. This thing has got fear-based safety technology and the ultimate collision avoidance system.
As a trooper, do you think it's ever annoying? Because what I'm thinking about is being stuck behind someone and be like, go faster. Because there's always the backup in the freeway. Even if someone's in the left lane, they're like, I don't want to pass them. I don't want to pass them.
Yeah, but that's going to be you. You can drive as fast as you want, and nobody will drive faster than you. And everybody's going to behave themselves. It's basically like having Volvo safety systems, but instead of a sensor, it's your interstate neighbors slowing down to 10 under the speed limit while nervously checking their seatbelt. One glance in the rearview mirror, and everyone around you is magically remembering how turn signals work and what the speed limit actually is.
That would be amazing.
And the criminals, they didn't stand a chance. Imagine thinking you've outrun a cop in your stolen Honda Civic, only to hear the roar of that Turbo V6 and see an SUV gaining on you.
Have you heard the quote-unquote roar of an EcoBoost V6?
No.
They are one of the worst sounding motors.
They sound awful.
Yeah, they're terrible sounding. Great. So yeah, not a roar.
Yeah. So Jake, what's cooler than the Ford Police Interceptor utility? Nothing. Because this isn't just a cop car, it's a Predator. It retired the Crown Vic's legacy, rewrote the rules, and turned SUVs into the ultimate tool of justice. The only question left, Jake, do you want yours in black or black with flashing lights?
Pass.
Come on.
There's nothing other than the novelty. There's nothing fun about it. The only interesting thing is it used to be a cop car. And also, like, are there any features whatsoever? Like, do they even have heated seats? Probably not. It's all probably like the most base spec and just beat. Each one of these, is just beat.
They're taken care of pretty well. I think so. My PPV was my Tahoe, my police pursuit vehicle Tahoe. Yeah. People drove like absolute gents around me in that thing. It was so great. The thing was
okay. Well, interesting
wonderful.
Pick. I will give you that.
Okay. Right.
Kudos and points for creativity there.
Yes, I think it would be fun to just like put the cattle guard on it in the front and just drive around. I think it'd be a lot of fun. All right, number four on our list.
Let's go.
It's the early 90s. Minivans are taking over the suburbs. SUVs are just starting to evade, and the station wagon is about as trendy as fanny packs.
Yeah.
Not good. The wagon at the time?
No, I know.
Nobody wants a wagon. Maybe you like fanny packs. I don't know. Car makers are cutting their losses, scrapping wagons left and right. But Buick, bless their stubborn little hearts, decided to double down. Instead of quietly letting the wagon era fade away, they built something so absurdly American, it's like a cheeseburger with wood paneling.
Oh, no.
This was no ordinary wagon. No, Buick crammed a Corvette engine under the hood of this one. A 5.7-liter LT1 V8 with enough power to tow your house. They threw in a rear-facing third-row seat so that you could turn your kids from cheeky little bros to monsters sneakily flipping off everyone behind you. And, of course, they added the aforementioned wood paneling. Why? Because nothing says class like fake wood glued to the side of your 19-foot rolling Suburbia.
But, like, actually, why? Why was that ever a fad? Why?
I don't know.
Why?
Well, it's a throwback to the original wood, which was real wood back in the day.
Yeah, but how is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just dumb.
Here's the kicker. Jake,
tell me.
They even put a skylight in it. called the Vista Roof. Not for you, the driver, of course. It's for the people in the back seat, because apparently Buick thought you'd need a view of the stars while you're hauling around that full-size sheet of plywood. This thing's got a lot of space, Jake.
Oh, yeah.
You could stretch out completely in the back with room to spare for your entire collection of puffy sweater vests and Birkenstocks. But here is where it gets good.
Thank you for
Buick
that.
slapped a legendary nameplate on it, a badge that once graced their most luxurious and powerful cars. And with it, they made a statement. They didn't care that SUVs were taking over. They didn't care that everyone else thought wagons were dead. But they built the damn thing anyway. And that's how, in the twilight of the American station wagon, the Buick Roadmaster was born.
Aha.
If you were to build what is perhaps the finest station wagon in the world, you'd make it luxurious, safe, and comfortable. Like the 1993 Buick Roadmaster Estate Wagon. You'd give it a V8 engine and driver airbag. Like Roadmaster, make it spacious enough for big surprises. Roadmaster Estate Wagon. Isn't it good to know that Buick still knows how to build a luxury wagon?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Jake, for years, the E30 M3 was hailed as God's chariot, the pinnacle of automotive precision.
How are you making this connection? Okay, where is this going?
But let's be honest. If our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ were walking the earth today, the E30 M3 wouldn't cut it. He wouldn't settle for cramped rear seats and a trunk that can barely fit a loaf of bread, let alone the loaves and fishes. No, he'd choose something worthy of his mission. He'd choose the Buick Roadmaster Estate Wagon.
There you go.
The Roadmaster isn't just a car. Jake.
Oh, it's not.
It is a rolling miracle. With 5.7-liter V8, it offers the kind of effortless power that could turn any journey into a pilgrimage. Its wood grain siding isn't just stylish, it's reverent. A nod to the craftsmanship of a carpenter's hands. And the third row rear-facing...
Jesus himself, Chris. Like Jesus himself.
And the third row rear-facing seat, a throne for apostles to reflect on the road behind you.
Okay, you got it.
Or the one...
That's where you're going.
Forget Thanksgiving with the family. You could deliver an entire Last Supper in this thing.
Oh, boy.
The E30 M3 might be everyone's easy choice for God's chariot, but the Buick Roadmaster Estate Wagon, it's the ultimate expression of grace, power, and salvation on wheels. The only question left for you, Jake, are you ready to answer the call of Jesus Christ himself and drive a Buick Roadmaster?
Oh, my goodness. Speaking of Jesus, this reminds me of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The opening scene.
This.
What?
I've never seen any of the National Lampoons.
You get to always make fun of me and shame me for not seeing movies, and you don't see any of the classics.
This is a big gap.
This is really bad.
Big gap.
Yeah, opening scene where they're singing and on a road trip, and that is exactly what they're driving. I believe it is exactly that car. Wood paneling.
It's not. I think it's a Caprice wagon.
Classic.
I think it's a Caprice.
It could be the Caprice classic wagon.
It's the more boxy.
Let's be honest, similar vehicle, badge engineered GM product.
The Caprice, yeah.
They probably use the same wood vinyl graphics, at the very least.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably did. Anyway, what do you think?
Yeah, no.
Why not?
One redeeming factor, I love the idea of a rear-facing third row seat. I've only ridden in a rear-facing seat twice in my life. One as a child and once with you, like a year ago.
Yeah, in the
Mercedes thing.
In the Mercedes. Well, they did put the rear-facing seat in a lot of different things. If you wanted that, you could get it. Like a lot of the old Volvos have it.
Yep. Yeah, there were some rare Audis that had it. You could get like an S6 wagon or an R6 wagon with a rear folding seat.
Yeah, let's go.
That'd be cool.
Sounds awesome. Also, some Mercedes stuff had it too, like a 300 wagon, stuff like that.
All right. But no, certainly not.
Tell me about Onyx.
Yes, Onyx is the best app for navigation and navigating your next adventure. Look no further than Onyx Off-Road, because they have over 750,000 miles of trails and comprehensive offline maps where you can explore without worrying about cell service. The app features trail ratings, detailed information, and a Discover tool to help you find trails near you. Onyx Off-Road also includes public and private land boundaries, so you'll always know where you can legally off-road and camp.
You can get a pretty damn good view of what your kid is going to see from that rear-facing seat in your Buick Roadmaster.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, dude, this thing can do burnouts. You can put a hitch on it. You could trailer stuff around.
I feel like if this is going to be a winter daily or like a daily in general, shouldn't all-wheel drive be kind of... It would certainly be a nice to have, Chris.
Just have Wes from Nokian send you some studded snow tires.
You'll be set to go.
What percentage of people drove around with no winter tires?
Yeah, like
and no all-wheel drive.
I know. Yes,
it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yes, no, you can plan trips with ease using Onyx Outdoors Route Builder or Onyx Off-Road, and share your adventures with friends. They have features like route tracking, waypoint marking, real-time updates. You are equipped for any challenge. Start your next adventure with confidence. Try Onyx Off-Road free for 7 days. Download today and start exploring.
All right. Jake, I would like to tell you about a unicorn.
Okay, now I'm interested.
All right.
I like the rare spec vehicles. Unicorn. Oh God, no.
7 climbing
no, this is an A series. No,
it's not.
No,
it isn't.
What is it? The R series or something? It was something weird. It was their minivan.
It is continually nice in there.
Why is it slow-mo?
The 6-passenger R350,
R350.
just one of the Mercedes-Benz SUVs with standard 4MATIC 4-wheel drive. The R-Class starts at $43,775.
I do miss that ad campaign because that narrator just sounded so just like, oh, you're going to be classy and be friends with me. Yes.
Speaking to old money versus speaking to new money, I think is the difference.
That's what it was.
All right. The year, this time, 2007. Mercedes-Benz has gone fully unhinged. AMG is stuffing big engines into anything with wheels.
Yes.
Sedans,
did they make an AMG version?
Sedans? Yes. SUVs? Yes. Wagons? Absolutely. But one day, someone at AMG looked at a luxury family hauler and said, what if we made this thing stupid fast? And $88,000.
I'm slightly interested
But if
now.
weight is the main problem in turning the R-Class into an R63,
6.3?
AMG
What?
has the solution. And it doesn't involve the trickery of turbos or superchargers. Just the magic of a 6.2-liter 32-valve V8 cranking out 507 horsepower.
They did
The result is blistering performance. Mercedes claims a 0 to 60 time of 4.6 seconds, and that seems about right. Body roll feels non-existent, and each of the 3 suspension settings work well. And
that's faster
end,
than the RS4.
That may be AMG's greatest accomplishment.
Wow. Okay, that is rad. I had no idea that existed.
This is not your typical minivan wagon mashup. Oh, no. This was the R-Class, a luxury spaceship with all-wheel drive and a backseat nicer than your living room. Under the hood, they dropped the naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8 engine, which was a beast with 503 horsepower, 465.
Isn't it a 6.3? Or did they just name it wrong?
Yeah, this R60. They always round up. Sounds better than R62.
You're rounding down.
This is what I'm not rounding anything. This is
you said 6.2 liter.
That's what it is. I know it says R63. Well,
then why does it say 63, Chris?
I don't know. They did that with the BMW 330i too. It's like everybody did this stuff. It was a 7-passenger family vehicle that could rocket from 0 to 60 4.6. It wasn't just quick for a van. It was faster than most sports cars at the time.
Legitimately.
The M156 engine design drew inspiration from racing technology, featuring a high-revving nature and robust construction. While similarly used in road-going AMG models, its performance characteristics reflect AMG's racing pedigree. Notably, the M156 serves as the foundation for the M159, which powered the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, which was their GT3 racing car.
It is basically a GT3 in a minivan.
Yes. I guess. Well, back then, everything was more grunt than it was high RPM. So I would say it's an AMG in a minivan because that's what AMG has always been. Very, very grunty. It's like you are, Jake. You are an AMG human.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm very like torquey and just like if rather than like trying to step back and use like a screwdriver to take something apart, I'll just grab a sledge.
Yeah. You're very torquey. 100%. Very yes. Motor Trend said, quote, this is a real quote, with 200 ever built, this is the ultimate people mover.
Oh, wow.
Mercedes-Benz has connected 80 million data points that suggest its R-Class is so relaxing its driver's heart will average 1.6 fewer beats per minute than it would if you were piling around 2 other unnamed German competitors. With fewer than 200 R63s worldwide over the model year, you would be one of a kind. Think about that, Jake. this car is rarer than most Ferraris.
Yeah.
When they slapped the AMG badge on it, they weren't making a wagon. They were making a statement. This was the family hauler for someone who thought carpool lines were a chance to set lap times. So would you buy it, Jake? This is you in car form. It's the underdog, the unexpected, the guy with the nice hair who shows up to a race and stops everyone with the grocery getter. And sure, it's rare, but let's be honest. So are you.
Oh, thanks. I just don't like it's a minivan.
Yeah, but come on.
I don't like it as a minivan, but I love the idea of it.
I know, it's like so
What
good.
are these things going for?
Oh, they're expensive. I think they're like $50,000 because they only made 200 of them. This is
Are you
not
going blind? Are you okay there?
I've got an eyelash fell in my eye. It's fine. It's fine.
I want to see, Mr. Producer, can you pull these up and bring a trailer? I'm very curious now, like what these go for, and if there are any, like how many have sold. If there's only 200 ever made, was it a 1 year only? It sounded like it.
Yeah, it was 1 year only. They only made 200 of them. There was no ads. There was no commercials. I think it was just something where it was like at the bottom of the page, it was like, oh yeah, would you like the AMG package for another $45,000? You know? All right, scroll down to auction results there. What do we got?
Okay.
Oh, go back up.
Yeah, we want to see what the average. No, just the. All right, so
recently,
around
on the
30.
far right there. Yeah,
30 to 40.
Okay,
yeah, that's a lot of money for a minivan, but it is pretty rad.
Yeah, but like
it's pretty rad.
Yeah,
it's pretty rad.
Also on my list in terms of weird engines and big things was a V10 TDI Touareg, but I wouldn't wish that upon anyone because I guess at this point.
Oh, they're just money pits. Those were so ridiculous, though. Those were cool.
All right.
I remember guys would show up to those in like at truck pulls, like not like real truck pulls where it's like organized, but guys like think of like sideshows.
What's
but
an
more
unorganized truck pull like?
Literally, you're showing up at the middle of the night, but instead of doing drag racing, you get a big chain and hook it between two trucks, and you do a truck pull in the middle of the street.
At each other?
Yeah, and like these things would just absolutely take any truck down.
Wreck. Wreck. Yeah, I think I remember seeing some videos like, all right, Jake, I would like you to get into my time machine.
Oh boy.
Possible.
Okay.
Are you willing to get into my time machine?
Oh, I like the sound of it. That's
right.
Bizarre.
The year is 2032. I think I might have to turn this down a little bit.
I mean, time machines are loud from what we know.
Jake, you are now in your mid-40s. Your kid is old enough to need to pack a bunch of shit in the back of something, including friends.
Wait, how old? 2032.
2032. So that's 8 years.
7 years? 8 years?
7 or 8 years.
7 years. We're really good at math.
All right, now ready?
And we're there yet? Wow.
All right.
Nice.
2032.
Okay.
You're in your mid-40s. Your kid is old enough to need to pack a bunch of shit in the back of something, including friends. Nikki still needs to get groceries. You've run out of home projects at the estate. You're bored. You're tired of F-250.
Can you imagine?
It's now broken in half. It's time to do something different.
Okay.
Based on the Audi 80, the RS2 features all the expectations of high-end luxury. Cruise control,
on my list.
power windows, air conditioning,
our
airbags,
lists have met.
And state-of-the-art hi-fi stereo with cassette players standard.
Oh, heck yeah.
This luxury, this performance demanded more than just a new name. It needed the new vision of what an everyday supercar could be. But you don't have to take my word for it. To prove it, we go to Audi headquarters in Ingolstadt, Germany. There we ask an average, totally random man on the street to test drive the car. Excuse me, sir. Sir, would you be interested in test riding the new Audi RS2?
Okay, I get it.
Audi?
Yes.
Driving?
That's right.
Yes, why not? I'm in.
Excellent decision. You won't regret it.
This is such a great clip.
This is so good. Why don't we have an intro like that? Just slow-mo of us walking.
Ooh, we can work that out.
We need that. With like really dramatic music. Basically just this. Let's just steal the soundtrack.
Steal this whole thing?
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Oh, 20 valve.
Now, just look at these numbers. That's 0 to 60. That's 0 to 30. So many enhancements, in fact. We couldn't even fit them all in SD. And of course, all of this power is fully realized with Audi's amazing permanent all-wheel drive system, Quattro.
Yeah.
So, how'd you like it?
Just great. All right.
Excellent.
What does he say right there? I don't know what he said. I couldn't figure it out.
Indeed.
I think it was just like a weird...
Audi's luxury design, together with Porsche's performance, has created a car one might say was born on the track, but built for the road.
Yes. Yes.
Designed by Porsche, by the way.
Yes. Well, partially, right?
Yeah, the motor.
Yeah, in concert with.
Yes, correct.
I'm not talking about this thing, though.
Oh, damn it.
But it all started with this thing.
Uh-huh.
Back in 1994, Audi decided they wanted to build something crazy. So crazy, they couldn't even do it by themselves.
Yeah.
And plus, it sounds like Porsche's assembly line was open for business. If they
Yes,
were also
100%.
designing, like the Mercedes was also the 500E. Audi had already made its name in rally with Quattro, ripping through snowbanks and gravel faster than you go through a pair of Birkenstocks. They called up Porsche, who were all too happy to help. And together, they birthed the first ever RS model, the RS2 Avant. Porsche sprinkled in their magic, brakes, suspension, wheels, and even the assembly line. What came out was turbocharged, 5-cylinder station wagon that could hit 60 miles per hour faster than a McLaren F1.
What?
Wow. Want me to say that again?
Yes.
If you were brave enough to keep it in the boost, that is. It was ridiculous. It was brilliant, and it proved a wagon could be cool.
Yes.
Fast forward a decade, and Audi took what they learned from the RS2 and added their own Quattro rally winning insanity and gave the world the RS4 Avant. But not just any RS4 Avant, the 2007 version, the one with the glorious 4.2-liter V8. Just remember, Jake, just remember, what year is it? It's 2032.
Okay.
Naturally aspirated.
Oh, I'm getting it. That's why it's 2032. Oh, I'm digging it.
8,000 RPM. It didn't just perform, it sang. They shoved it into a wagon body that somehow looked understated, like it was going to pick a fight with everything in its lane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my eye is like out of control right now. Wide arches, subtle aggression, and flipping the script. They thought, what if we take all this engineering brilliance, stick it in a wagon, and sell it to people who need to haul dog crates and IKEA flat packs?
Yeah.
And of course, Audi decided we couldn't have it. Nope.
No,
they figured Americans,
European only,
aka you, didn't understand fast wagons. So while Europe got the RS4 Avant, a car that could hit 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds while carrying a week's worth of groceries, we got nothing. Zilch.
Well, we got the sedan.
Sedans are boring. We left drooling over grainy. We were
owned.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons why it's in this list.
Yeah.
We were left drooling over grainy YouTube videos of Europeans carving through the Alps while their Labradors wagged their tails in the back seat. But Jake, here's the good news. It's 2032. The wait is
25
over.
Year.
The 25-year rule is lifted, and you can finally bring one home. This isn't just a car. It's a declaration. A wagon that traces its lineage back to Porsche-Audi collaboration that no one saw coming. A car that takes practicality, dials it up to absurdity, and wraps it in a package so perfectly balanced it's hard to tell if it belongs on a track or in the line to pick up your kid from soccer practice.
The answer is yes. Both. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And I'm going to tell you.
Oh, I love it.
This is the coolest modern car that you have owned. I'm glad it's 2032 and you can get a wagon version.
Yeah.
And to rub it in, here's another clip for you.
Yeah.
For you to remember what you missed.
Oh, it sounded so good. So when I did the exhaust on that, we just replaced the resonator with a mid-pipe situation. But I took it for a spin without any exhaust.
Oh, man,
that was
you could
the
straight
most
pipe that thing here.
Ridiculous sounding vehicle. Just that motor straight piped. So good.
All right, before we get into our next one, tell me a little bit about Nokian Tire.
Yes, winter is here, of course, and if you live where the snow and ice are concerned, you better start thinking about your tires. Nokian Tires literally invented the winter tire, and that was exactly 90 years ago. The flagship Hakkapeliitta tires are engineered with cutting-edge technology.
Can you imagine an RS4 with studded Nokians in Minnesota?
Oh, I mean,
and a
not
wagon?
studded, but I can remember. Yeah, okay, not the wagon. It'd be so good.
Oh,
so
man.
good.
Is that a wagon you would own? Would you own that wagon?
Yes, 100%. Let's go.
I know there's so much pain. What about finding, whether it's on Bring a Trailer or whatever, a B5 S4 Avant?
I have. It's literally on my list.
Is
There's
it?
one on Facebook Marketplace. I've been talking to the guy.
Ooh.
Yes, we're on the same page. And also, this one is ridiculous. This one is ridiculous that I found.
All right. Well, we're going to save.
It makes over 600 horsepower, Chris.
Ooh, God, Jesus. We're going to save your what you found And what happened with my Golf and the new vehicle that I've got?
That's all Drivers Club?
That's all Drivers Club. So if you want to hang out for that.
Whew. That's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Is that what else we got for Nokia and Tire here? Before,
yeah. So they were honed on a test track north of the Arctic Circle in the most extreme conditions. They advance innovations such as aramid sidewalls. And of course, they have a pothole protection warranty as well as a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. You can drive on them for an entire month. And if you don't love them, you can give them back. They will completely refund your money. It's amazing. Learn more and get your set of studded or non-studded tires visiting nokiantires.com/winterlegend. And if I haven't spelt it, it's Nokian Tires with a Y.
Ooh,
/winter legend.
There you go. I have my Golf R, has the winter or the snow tires on it, Nokian. Yes. And then I got this new vehicle which has Michelin something or another's. I drove them. I'm like, okay, it's icy out. I went and drove them back to back in my neighborhood.
Are they? So they are the Michelin dedicated winter tire though.
Yeah, and it's like they've got a crazy siping pattern, just like all these V's.
I've had those, or I might even have those. I might have those on a vehicle.
Not great. Nokian's better. Just saying. That's my back to back.
100%. I love that.
All right. Let me tell you a story.
So are we on number 5?
This is number 1. This is number 1. This is my number 1 pick for you. It's my number 1 pick. All right.
Okay.
Jake.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story about how Volkswagen turned a humble hatchback into a world-class giant killer.
Done. Yes, this is on my list too. Let's go. This is number 1 on my list. The year is what, 2004? Are we 2004?
The year was 1976, and Volkswagen had just launched the Golf, a practical little car that replaced the Beetle. It was efficient, sensible, and it was just about the least exciting thing you could drive. But a handful of engineers at VW had a different idea.
Yeah.
They took this boxy little hatchback and gave it something special. The cutting-edge, quote, Heron engine. Now, the Heron engine was no ordinary design. While most engineers housed the combustion chamber in the cylinder head, the Heron flipped the script. It carved the chamber into the top of the piston itself. It was not a new idea. They did this in the 60s, too. But it was still fairly uncommon. I think it was the first time Volkswagen had done it. This gave the engine a simpler, lighter head, tighter tolerances, and a brilliant combustion efficiency. VW wasn't making a faster car. They were making a smarter one.
Yeah.
That 1.6-liter Heron GTI packed 110 horsepower, which does not sound like much, but in a car that light, and for the time, it turned the Golf into a rocket. Suddenly, this sensible family car was outcornering sports cars twice its price. The GTI didn't just create the hatchback, it defined it.
That's right.
Fast forward a few decades, and VW kept turning the dial up, evolving the GTI with every generation. But the real twist came in 2002, when Volkswagen decided that even the GTI wasn't enough. They introduced the R32, a GTI on steroids, all-wheel drive, and more power than ever.
Do you know why they built it or what they were supposed to build and they didn't?
No, go ahead.
Are you going to get into the Beetle RSI?
Oh, no, I'm not getting into the Beetle RSI.
Okay, so they did have a Beetle RSI, which was basically like a single model make racing
rally
series.
Car.
Well, it was a street racing series that it was supposed to be like a cup car, right? So you could go out, you could buy a Beetle RSI, and you could go racing with all the other buddies, like as a single make series. They were gonna then make a special edition RSI for the street, which was all-wheel drive, had their VR6 with the 3.2 liter displacement, which was the biggest they had ever done at the time, and they're going to put it in the Beetle, and that was going to be what was going to sell. But then they realized that wouldn't actually sell. People didn't want a Beetle that was fast; they wanted a GTI that was absolutely amazing. So
because everybody drives a Beetle, is driving it to like the bookstore and the incense shop.
Yes,
that would have been
I like that.
Would have been a poor choice.
Yeah. So, anyways, yes.
You own an R32.
Yes, I did.
I think just right when I met you, you had an R32, Tornado Red. Why did you sell it?
It was black.
Was it black? I thought it was red.
Black Magic Pearl. I sold that because we had just bought the RS4 from Nikki's dad, and we were like, we need something that isn't just a Volkswagen all-wheel drive thing.
Yeah, you needed a Cayenne and a Macan.
Correct. No, that was the... Was that when I got the Hummer? I might have got the Hummer at that point. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways,
you liking the Hummer and how weird and unique that thing was is why I threw that minivan in there, because it's so weird and unique.
Yeah.
By 2019, the Golf R was the pinnacle of everything Volkswagen had been building toward for decades.
Except for except for the motor.
Yeah, you're just a VR6 fan, aren't you? Yeah.
Just disappointed by that.
A turbocharged 2-liter engine with 288 horsepower, and the same engineering spirit that made the Heron engine revolutionary. The R isn't just about speed, it's about precision, innovation, and reminding everyone else why VW has been at the top of this game since the 70s, or were. So, Jake, the Golf R isn't just another hot hatch, it's the culmination of a lineage of rebels who knew that big things could come in small, boxy packages.
That's me.
Think of it as the Heron engine's great grandson, all grown up and ready to kick ass. This car, this Golf R, my Golf R, is the last great GTI. It's the last one.
Okay.
I'll fight you a little bit on the VR6 thing. I think GTI should always have a 4-cylinder engine.
Yeah, well, it's not a GTI. I agree. It's not a GTI. That's why I don't want a GTI.
I guess that's kind of semantics, isn't it?
Well, that's what you said.
I guess it could go either way. You know, I was always disappointed that the Mark V R only came in DSG. What a mistake.
Another I'll just tease on my list is that, because you can get them really, really cheap. And the trans swap is very well documented and so easy to do.
So ugly.
Yeah, they're not good.
The headlights.
That was their weird, like, bulbous period.
Ugly.
Like, they were like, oh, we're going to make it more. Remember the DOS Auto campaign? Yeah. That was when that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I know. I do not like the styling of them. But
tell me about Petrobox.
Yeah, well, Petrobox is a monthly service made specifically for the automotive enthusiasts. Each month, they carefully select items, including tools, detailing supplies, apparel, garage gear, stickers, and publications to be sent right there to your doorstep every single month. There's actually 2 different levels of subscription to choose from. The Petrobox Basic costs less than $20 a month, while the Petrobox Premium gets you even more gear for $39.95 a month. Check them out at mypetrobox.com, and be sure to use the code Overcrest at checkout to get $6 off your first month.
All right. Everybody's traveling a lot right now as this episode comes out.
True.
I'm going to places for Christmas and doing all the fun Christmassy things.
Yep.
I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Very Merry Christmas. I hope you and your family all do well. My notes here say Merry Christmas, idiots, but I thought I would say something nicer.
Well, that's so much nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. We're going to continue on with the Drivers Club and talk about, you know, all things, whatever Jake chose for himself that isn't anything on this. Well, actually, kind of half stuff on this list.
Yeah, no,
we had a little bit of our.
There's a couple overlaps, which I'm very proud of. At the beginning of this list, I was like, oh dear Lord, what is he doing?
Those were number 5.
Those were 5
and number 4.
Were great.
Yeah.
But I do think, how is the Mark 4 or 32 not me incarnate as opposed to that minivan? Small, boxy,
of course, that's why it's
powerful.
Much higher on the list. That's why the Golf R stuff's higher.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, but you.
Yeah.
You don't have any displacement though, Jake.
That's why it's only 3.2 liters. Just
you're short stroke.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. If you're in Drivers Club, stick around. We'll see you later.
Take care.